I want to buy property by the sea. I want to rent it out part of the time and sometimes come myself, stay in this property, relax and so on. That's the request I hear from most clients, or at least some of the clients I talk to. I almost always ask, what kind of property do you want to buy? Is it economy, comfort, business class or premium class? And at this point some people really get stuck because first of all they didn't expect such a question, and secondly they don't divide real estate into these categories. Yes, subjectively it seems like real estate is just real estate, square meters are just square meters. Even though in many other areas people usually do make these distinctions. There, if you take, say, a Jiguli and a Mercedes, the difference in value, quality and all other aspects is obvious. But for some reason many people don't see this distinction when it comes to real estate. So price and value are fundamentally different. For example, in Batumi, the market currently consists of the following segments. About 80% is economy class, 18% of the real estate market volume is comfort class, and only 2% is business class, which is literally just a couple of buildings, and we don't have a single premium segment building. What does this mean for anyone who understands investments? This means that there is a certain imbalance in the market. An imbalance in what? That some segments are highly developed while others are clearly underdeveloped. And whenever there are underdeveloped segments, it always creates opportunities. Yes, this means that first there are always different groups and categories of people present in the market, but for one of these categories, there are simply no offerings at all. For example, people want to buy premium real estate, but today there are no offerings for them on this market. Such projects are only just being built, and this is also a big opportunity for those who understand what is happening here. Often when you want to buy a property at a lower price, you automatically end up with economy class properties and sometimes with comfort class properties. And you need to understand that, for example, in the Batumi market today, this segment is already overheated. What does overheated mean? There is a lot of this kind of real estate here, and naturally the competition in this environment is already high. If you pay attention in the economy and comfort segments here, aside from all the obvious problems related to the quality of many projects and so on, there is an imbalance. That is, developers are building more economy class and comfort class projects than the market can absorb. Why is this happening? This happens simply because it's easier for them to sell. Yes, meaning there are physically more people who can afford inexpensive real estate, and accordingly it's easier to sell. They are more eager to enter these segments because selling business class properties is a bit more difficult, advertising is more expensive and so on. But precisely because developers are building so much, more than the market can absorb, firstly, prices fall, and secondly, it's almost impossible for you to make money on this because demand is insufficient and the value doesn't grow as much as you would like. Many projects are compromises, and in the end, everyone who gets involved in these projects ends up not making a damn thing. To be more precise, of course, there are also strategies for making money in the economy and comfort segments, but these strategies are not simple. It's not just a matter of coming in, putting your money in at the start of construction at the foundation stage, and then taking it out with a profit. No, that doesn't work there anymore. There is a strategy for you on how to make money in the economy and comfort segments. I'll leave you a link now, you can check it out and read it. There are different strategies there, but I guide my investors into higher margin products. Well, at least those who have the money. For those who have very little money, that is, practically no money to invest, of course, you can start with simpler but less profitable strategies. With the right approach, this is very important. For example, in the Batumi real estate market, there was already a precedent when you could earn well with a strategy focused specifically on buying comfort class properties. That was when there were almost none here, around 2015, maybe 2014, when the comfort segment was just emerging, the very first properties, and back then those were still Orbi buildings. Now, of course, they are not valued at all. That is, this housing is of very low quality, but back then for the market it was a real wow. When there was only economy class, the first comfort class buildings appeared. Naturally, everyone who wanted to invest put their money into whatever was the best on the market, and overall many people made 2 or even 3 times their investment. So these were quite good returns. How did that happen? Only because they entered a market segment that didn't exist before. And now the same story is happening. Yes, now there is already quite a lot of comfort class here, but the business and premium segments are almost completely absent. Yes, they're just not here at all. Here, in this environment, there is practically no competition. Of course, another issue is that the developer needs to build properly so that it really is business class and truly premium. Because there is a problem in this market where projects are called premium, but in reality they barely even qualify as comfort class, yet here for some reason they're labeled as premium. What will happen if, instead of following the right strategies and understanding how to apply them, you rely on basic stereotypes? you will fall into the same trap that most people do. For example, a very common stereotype is, I'll buy property on the first line and make money. Almost all beachfront property in Batumi yields a return of up to 5% per year. This includes both the increase in property value and the rental income, as well as the appreciation, but really there's no point in it at all. Even though a lot of such housing is being built, it's very easy to fall into this trap. If you're a beginner, for example, you can start by familiarizing yourself with the guide on the 7 main strategies and study it carefully. But if you're already an advanced user and already know all the main strategies, understand all the risks, pros and cons, and how to get into different markets, you should still definitely check out my channel. I have a lot of useful information that will be very helpful, even for you.